The writing class is aimed to help us learn literacy experience. In the class, I learned many literacy experience. The first thought I have is the writing style. In the writing style, what remains most fresh in my memory is how to write in a narrative way. According to the definition, narrative is a message that tells the particulars of an act or occurrence or course of events, presented in writing or drama or cinema or as a radio or television program. Basically, this means to tell a detailed and accurate story. The writing should not just be dry, like only listing things. In Project 1, I learned how to write in third-person view in the narrative form. At first, I was so confused about the narrative way and the third-person view. I was also confused by the requirement that said, take on the role of an amateur detective. You are required to write this project from a perspective other than your own. For me, I had never written in third person before. How could one person tell his story as third person view? I started to think about this question for a long time and researched it on the internet. After reading some articles, I began to have ideas. I started to add many details to my story. It was hard when I first started writing, but after writing several sentences, it became easier for me to write further. It was easy to write about psychological activities, because compared with first-person view, the third-person view can allow me to write more freely. This is because it seems that I was describing another person's view, so I was not afraid to write personal things. Compared with the first-person view, I learned how to write narrative in the third-person view. The learning of narrative also reflected in Project 2. In Project 2, I started to think about describing the relationship between myself and something around me. It helped me to think about and notice things around me that won't be noticed normally. I practiced writing my story with further details and make the writing more interesting by practicing in Project 2. I learned a more oral way of writing in Project 3. For the remix project, it required using different media to show a previous project. I was confused about what the writing in the video should be, so I went to Professor Tara's office hours. After asking some detailed questions about the project and with encouragement from Tara to think about these things myself, what our writing is became clear. I started to notice the difference between original writing and oral writing when I was doing this project. Compared with original writing, oral writing should not be formal because if the video was too formal and the dub included too many complex words, it would be boring. Thus, original writing should be simple and easy to understand. Additionally, it should not be too long. After doing this project, I start to really understand the differentiation in writing style is and how the writing style should be. The previous projects both taught me how to write narrative in detail, learning how to communicate information in a certain way, and how to communicate in a well-rounded way. The fourth project was more professional. It required me to write in a journalistic way. I feel confused about the rhetorical triangle at first. I did not understand what logos, essos, and pesos really mean. I tried to Google them, but explanation also confused me. and there were no corresponding Chinese explanations. So, I went to Professor Terra's office hours and asked him for help. After his explanation, I felt I was clear about these things. The analysis of an academic article, a website, and a trade article deepened my understanding of the rhetorical triangle through practice. I also learned how to write in journalistic way by writing a reflection paper about the interview. It is the first time I wrote a reflection paper. Besides the learning experience of writing styles, I also learned a few other things. In Project 2, I learned about how to organize my paragraphs. At first, I write too much background information and organize the paragraph poorly. For example, I added a fable into the article and found this background information were not well connected with the article. So I delete this unrelated information. I also improved my organization in Project 4. To fit the page requirements, I deleted some repeated sentences and tried to simplify the words. In my opinion, it is harder to make the article concise compared to expanded. Just like it is easy to be fat but hard to lose weight, making my article concise forced me to further understand my article and understand the structure of the article. It is impossible to make the article concise without a complete understanding of the structure and content. Besides these things, the most helpful thing I learned from the article was the meaning of culture. In China, culture usually used to mean something huge, such as the Chinese culture. Culture was a symbol that wasn't specified and clear. It has a more vague meaning. But in the United States, culture was small and specific. I clearly memorized. I was shocked by the suggestion Professor Terra gave. He told me that something small, such as being creative and not wasting things, can also be a culture. Culture doesn't have to be as big as the China-American culture difference, but it also can specify as the culture of a family. Tara's suggestions changed my view and understanding of culture. I started to think about the meaning of culture and what culture is in a new way. Just like Tara opened a new world for me. I also improved my understanding of what is culture in Project 3, 2, and 4. For example, in Project 4, I started to research what the writing culture in supply chain management is. These things really improved my understanding of culture. These experiences were a good memory in my university career. By doing these projects, I was really hard work and I spent lots of time on them. As they say, no pain, no gain. In terms of gain, I received lots of knowledge and a unique, meaningful learning experience. I believe they will help me a lot in my future.